Hey, Brian Young here. Today's video is on hiring a book sales manager. So you're assembling your team. Hopefully you're thinking about, or you've already hired a book sourcer and a book lister, and now you want to jump ahead and you want somebody to manage the entire book selling operation. Well, this is the video series that's going to really help you with that, hiring a book sales manager. So first of all, what is a book sales manager? Well, in essence, he or she is an extension of you. You could do all the things that a book sales manager does, honestly. And if you want to, for some people, that's what they're going to want to do. They're going to set up a good system. They're going to do the hiring and training and firing. They're going to offer on-demand coaching. They're going to, obviously be the vision and the person that's thrusting the business forward. But for others, they say, you know what, I want to focus on other projects. I want to build other businesses. I don't have time for this kind of stuff. I'm just going to hire somebody that's going to be an extension of me. It's going to be like I'm doing these things. I'm just going to have somebody else to do them for me. I'm going to compensate them, and then I'm going to move on. I'm going to make profit, in other businesses and in other areas, or just spend that extra time doing what you love to do, pursuing your why. So that's exactly what a book sales manager is. So you may be asking, why should I hire a book sales manager? Well, I've already alluded to it. If your goal is to set up a bust-proof business, a business that perpetuates itself without your direct involvement, then hiring a book sales manager is a good idea. Because if you are the manager, the administrator of this business, the linchpin, and you get hit by a bus and you're on your back in a hospital bed, things could just fall apart. Productivity could cease. There could be issues. So having a book sales manager in place is going to safeguard that, and it's going to make this a true passive stream of income. Now, who's the best candidate for this job? Now, there's a lot of intangibles and characteristics and experience and knowledge you're going to be looking for when you're hiring somebody to do this job, because, again, this is the most important job in your business, your book selling business. I mean, sources are important and listers are important, but the book sales manager is the person that brings it all together. And for that reason, they're going to have a lot of you're going to need to trust them, because they're going to have a lot of power. They're going to have a lot of authority. They need to be experienced and mature. And you don't. This is not a position where you want to hire a project employee. This is not a position where you feel bad for somebody because they don't have a job, and so you just find somebody who needs a job and you plug them in and you cross your fingers and hope they do well. No, this is somebody that you need to be sure is already positioned to be successful. They need to be dynamic, forceful, and able. They need to be able to have these difficult conversations with your employees or your independent contractors. They need to be creative. They need to be looking for ways to buy inventory for less. They need to be ways to motivate the employees. They need to be charismatic. They need to be able to lead and get people to want to follow them. And ultimately, they need to have an out-of-the-box mindset. They can't be of the status quo mindset. They can't just listen to direction and follow it. They need to be leaders. They need to kind of be pushing forward. They need to be a little creative and artistic. So how do you compensate? Before we jump into like putting together a job description and that sort of thing and hiring and interviewing for a book sales manager, how do you compensate one? Well, I encourage you to watch the video series on hiring book sourcers. Not only do I talk about hiring book sourcers, but I go in depth into the different compensation options. For us, if I would recommend something to you, it would be a hybrid compensation plan. Well, one or two. My first choice would be to pay a base salary, or a certain percentage of the profits of the company, whatever is greater. Or you could pay a per book listed, per book sourced finder's fee. So our book sales manager started out making 25 cents per book sourced and 10 cents per book listed. So everybody that he managed, everybody under his control that sourced books and that listed books, he derived a benefit from them. Now, if the whole thing stopped and people weren't buying and people weren't listing books, then he wouldn't benefit from them. So all the motivation was intrinsically connected to his compensation to get people working, get people to work more efficiently as well. So first up, write a good job description. The easiest way to put your finger on exactly what you're looking for in a manager is to sit down and spell it out. Now, I just would make a big, long list of what you're looking for in a book sales manager, and then kind of go back through it and trim it up and make it a little more efficient. And then you'll have some good criteria, not only to be viewed by those who are looking to apply for the job, like in your job ad, but also you'll have that in front of you. So when you're going through the interview process, you'll have kind of like a standard that you're looking to be met before elevating that interviewee forward to the next step. So place an ad for a new manager. Again, you want to all the places that you place an ad, you want to focus on the positive aspects of the job. So the ad is designed to attract people. You're not trying to screen people. You want to be honest, but you don't want to be too overly critical about the downfalls of the position. You want to attract them, and then the screening process will be your correspondences via email or over the phone, and then ultimately, if you choose them to be one of the handful that you interview, you'll be doing some screening there as well. But you just want to cast a very large net because you don't want to turn people away prematurely. It's best to have them fill out a detailed application and submit a resume. Again, that's requiring them to do a little bit of work. And if they're really serious about this position, they'll be happy to comply. If they're not, if they're kind of just shrugging their shoulders and they're thinking they'll give your position a shot, but they probably won't fill out the application and submit the resume, so you can go ahead and just say maybe they're not best for this position then. And there's lots of places you can place an ad: Craigslist, Facebook. There's like a handful of other places online that you can post free job ads, and they'll blast the internet and various other sources with your job. There are some places you can pay too, but lots of opportunity out there for you to look for local and remote book sales managers for your business. So interviewing candidates, your goal of the interview is to reveal the inner being of each candidate. You really want to get to the heart of who they are on the inside. And you want to do that using your job description as a foundation. So that job description that you communicate really well in your job ad, you're also going to use that as criteria. So what I recommend you do is take all the main points from your job description, who would be an ideal candidate for the job, print them out with a little bit of space next to each one, and print out a bunch of copies of that. And then as you interview people, you can make notes next to each of those main points as to different things that come up in the conversation that may point to this interviewee being the one for the position or not. And then after you've gone through the review, if you feel like there are a legitimate candidate for the business, then you can put them through some serious reference checks. So check the references that are on the resume and the application. There's no need to check a bunch of references on people that you're not even interested in employing ultimately. So for the interview process in general, I just would recommend you allow ample time. Put the interviewee at ease. I mean, odds are if they want the job, they're probably going to be a little nervous. So just be hospitable, be friendly. Hey, can I grab you a cup of coffee? And just a little bit of small talk, but avoid too much small talk, because then the thrust of the conversation, the course of the conversation could be diverted to things that are not as important. Okay. And you also want to set a professional standard. You're not going to be friends with this person. You're not going to be buddies. You guys are going to hang out. You guys are going to have a very honest, respectable, professional business relationship, and that's it. It needs to be that way, because if you feel like he or she is your friend, it's going to be really hard for you to tell them what needs to be told. It's going to be really hard for them to receive it, because they're going to view you in a different paradigm. So be friendly, avoid small talk. Explain it. Maybe start out by explaining to them the business. Say, hey, this is my company. This is what we do. This is how we started. This is where we're going. It's really exciting. You want them to know who you guys are and get really excited about your business. And then you want to find out as much as you can about them. So everything from their hobbies, their passions, their background, their experience, going beyond their resume and going beyond the job application. And then you want to discuss compensation, because that's ultimately really important too. Explain to them how they're going to get paid. And then wrapping up the interview, you end the interview as soon as you are confident the candidate is not the one. So if you're interviewing somebody and you're like, ooh, they just said a couple things right there that threw up all sorts of red flags, and in the back of your mind, I'm not going to hire this person, then that is a good indication that you should exit the conversation as fast as possible. And you can do that, discreetly and respectfully. Wrap up the main point of whatever you're talking about and just say, okay, well, thank you so much. That's all the time we have for today. I'll be in contact with you. We'll consider you for this position. If you have any questions, get in contact with me, yada, yada. And then in a couple of days, you can send them an email or a letter saying, thank you so much for applying. We've decided to go a different direction, or we selected somebody else for the position, or whatever. It's better for you to not waste your time on somebody that you already know is not going to be one of the final few candidates for the position. If you like them, tell them that you're interested. Say, we're interested in pursuing this position for you. I'd like you to give this position some thought, and then get in contact with us within the next handful of days and let us know what decision you've come to. Because if they're a qualified candidate, it means they have some of the intangibles that probably make them desirable for other businesses too. But you want to give them that time to think about it. That'll also give you some time to check the references as well. This is the most important position in your company, so you're going to want to ask serious, penetrating questions. It'd also be good to ask them how they'd handle some real issues in book selling. Like you could say, What would you do if you caught one of the book sourcing people stealing money? And this is how they do it. They go to Walmart and they buy supplies, and if they were like an employee of ours, we'd pay for those supplies in addition to, their books and the fees. Or maybe they're an independent contractor and they're rolling all their supply costs into their book costs and their finder's fees and that sort of thing. And you discover by looking at some of the receipts that they're including some personal items in there. How would you handle that? And just getting a good idea of how they'd handle that issue could be really helpful at uncovering, their approach, their management strategy, and their approach to this business. Also, give them some real problems, and you might gain some good insight into how you can change your business while also getting some good insight into the candidate personally. So in conclusion, hiring a book sales manager is a huge step. It's taking the administrative role that you've probably been playing for your business, or you would be, most likely to play in this book selling business, and you're stepping out and you're putting somebody else in there. So it's very important. I just would highly encourage you that you choose wisely. Again, don't pick somebody because you feel sorry for them. Don't pick somebody because you want to help somebody out. Find a good candidate who can succeed, compensate them well, expect them to perform well, and you will be completely thrilled with the results. You're going to love being able to step out of your business and to work on it occasionally when you like to, instead of having to work in it all the time. So hopefully this video has helped. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, I'd love to field those for you. Send me an email, chat with me on one of the Facebook groups. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.